no one will be you. No one has the gifts and talents that you have right now. And nobody's going to do the work for you, okay? It's up to you to do your work. What's going on? You're listening to the Perspective Podcast, and I'm your host, Scotty.D.Russell of Perspective Collective. This is a show for creatives, and it's all about equipping you with confidence to pursue your creativity, because you have a gift, and I want to help you find a demand for it in the world. I'm 7 episodes deep, and I just want to make one thing super clear, just to avoid any confusion. I want you to know that I don't have everything figured out. I do not want you to think I'm trying to come off that way. By far, I'm still learning. I'm a student of life, and everything that I share with you is strictly from experience and what I found that works for me. Take it or leave it, find the value in whatever I have to say, and do your own thing. That's all there is to it, because there's not one way of doing something, and that's what perspective is all about. That's why my name is Perspective Collective. That's why it's the Perspective Podcast. It's about seeing things from a different perspective and then formulating your own idea on something, okay? Not to be convinced or told what to do, okay? Formulate your own opinion. That's what perspective is. Now, today is a great episode. It's something I totally resonate with. It's basically a story about me, and I want to help you break the comparison trap. So the comparison trap is feeling you're not good enough, feeling you're inadequate compared to someone you look up to or other people in your industry or business. And the whole goal today is to give you 5 steps to avoid the comparison trap so you can start enjoying the creative process, because the creative process is something of beauty, okay? We are artists because we love to create. It's the essence of our being, okay? And I want you to enjoy every minute of what you do when you're creating. So you and we're living in a world where people feel entitled to instant gratification. When you don't experience immediate success, you're left feeling not good enough. This feeling of comparing yourself to others with a more advanced skill set kills the desire or passion to even attempt to get better. There's no fun in the process, and it stops you from making anything at all. So how do you get over these feelings of inadequacy? Well, it starts by understanding the trap of comparison so you can take the first steps toward getting started and enjoying the creative process. So let's dive a little bit deeper on what the comparison trap is. This is something you and I are both guilty of. I'm still guilty of it to this day, even though I'm more aware of it. It's easy to compare yourself to those who are crushing it in what you aspire to do. They do things so effortlessly in a fraction of the time it would take you. So you think to yourself, I'll never be that good. Why even bother? Again, I'm guilty of this, and I know you are too. This self-defeating mindset immobilizes you from going all in. I remember when I started hand lettering over 2 years ago. I was in awe by the lettering of Raul Alejandro. Draul is his tag. Ricardo Gonzalez, that's It's a Living. Jessica Hish, obviously, most of you probably know of her. And then the legends of the late Doyle Young. I felt like I could never amount to these people's skills, and it almost stopped me from trying. And honestly, if I would have stopped trying, I would have never been able to start writing a blog post or make this episode for you to hear if I didn't keep pushing through this trap. Don't ever forget that these people started exactly in the same place you were. They most likely compared themselves to others and probably still do today. We all do this, whether we are aware of it or not. I want you to know that you are good enough. But these things never happen overnight for anyone. If you're expecting instant gratification in this society of viral YouTube stars, then this line of work is not for you. The goal should never be to please the masses with your work. Avoid coming from a place of seeking validation. Believe me, I've been there. It sets you up for a crushing disappointment when things don't go as planned. So avoid the comparison trap and get started on your own personal journey of creating from an authentic place so you can enjoy what you do. Because if you don't have the desire or the patience to put in the work, you need to keep this as a hobby and do it when it's convenient. But I'm doing the Perspective Podcast because I want to help you become a professional by starting off right. So let's get into the first steps of enjoying the creative process. If I was to start all over again and had the opportunity to receive some guidance, these are the steps I would tell myself to go through. So first off, finding your sweet spot. You need to have a vision in order to enjoy the process and the grind of creating. This vision consists of your sweet spot, which I cover many times in the past blogs and most recent speeches. And I'll link all of these up in the show notes where you can find them at perspective-collective.com/7. So essentially, you're in the pursuit to be equally good at what you love to do. This is the sweet spot. This is done by finding your greatest strength and combining it with your greatest passion. Eventually, once you find your sweet spot, you need to find a market for it, but we'll talk about that later. We're just getting started here. And by finding your sweet spot, it helps ensure that you will enjoy the work you are best at. You can't focus on one more than the other. You can't just go out looking for something that's your greatest strength without thinking of your greatest passion, and vice versa. You can't go out seeking something you're most passionate about if you're not really good at it. So the second step is experimentation. You have the freedom and ability to explore your creative styles. You can use different tools, different mediums, etc. to develop a style that falls within your sweet spot that you can keep evolving. And last week I talked about dipping your toes in the water before you dive in and fully commit. So experimentation, and this is something I've challenged myself with all summer. If you started following my art a while ago, you would notice that it's pretty much always black and white grayscale. Well, I challenged myself to inject a lot more color and a lot more energy to match this positivity I'm putting out into the world. Third, start creating from an authentic place. Now, whether you want to believe it or not, every artist has reference from some other previous artist's works. Hence the book, Steal Like an Artist. However, the goal is to take your inspiration and evolve it into something new and refreshing. Plagiarism is never cool, and it is seen too often. Also, mimicking someone's exact style seems to be the new phase today. Just look at the Instagram art community. It's getting a little out of hand, guys. Come on now. I see you out there. Everybody's copying each other. Just quit it. Start creating from an authentic place. And this means that you inject fresh ideas into your work that will distinguish it from the masses. It's not about following the latest trends to jump on the attention bandwagon. How the heck can you stand out when you're trying to fit in so hard and copying everyone? What can you do that will make you stand out amongst the noise? Number 4, have some passion and enthusiasm in your work. The best way to start building an audience around your work is by instilling as much excitement and passion into your work as possible. People are attracted to those who relentlessly pursue the things they love and bring an energy to it. I don't feel like you would be attracted to my podcast episode if I just talk like this and attract people who relentlessly pursue the things they love. No, that would be boring. You know, there's some podcasters out there that do that. They may have great content, but I can't get with it because it doesn't excite me. You know, people want to be associated and stand behind something like this because it helps them see a better version of themselves. So bring some passion and enthusiasm to your work. Finally, vulnerability is a good thing. In order for people to care about you, you need to prove that you care about them. And the best way to do this is through storytelling through your work. Okay, and being vulnerable and being transparent. Creating is self-expression, so getting transparent and sharing a vulnerable side of you that people can resonate with will help build credibility. People want to see themselves in your stories. People want to know that your work is for them. Hence, this is why I share my past struggles, my past experiences with me dealing with my own comparison trap, okay? I want to share my struggles. I want you to know that this isn't easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. Okay, I want to be vulnerable here because I just want to show you the real side of what it takes to make your dreams of having a thriving creative career possible. I want to just close off with letting you know that you are good enough. Wherever you find yourself on your creative path right now, just understand that you're good enough and you have untapped potential. I encourage you to live a life of creating what's true to yourself and actually enjoy it. Your journey and story is so unique from every other soul out there. No one has the exact DNA you have, okay? It's a blessing. It's not a curse. Don't let the comparison trap rob you of the person you're supposed to become. You were designed to design and you were created to create. Now, what are you going to do with your existence on Earth? Life's too short to drown in the feeling of inadequacy because you are good enough and it's time to get started. So take the first steps and enjoy the creative process. This episode really hits home for me because I pretty much spent my entire life comparing myself to other people. Like, I didn't grow up with tons of money. I didn't grow up the best looking, the smartest, the most talented and stuff. You know, I really compared myself and put so many people on a pedestal. And I hope this episode really resonated with you, because if you're a creative, yeah, there's so many people that are on another level compared to you, but no one will be you. No one has the gifts and talents that you have right now, and nobody's going to do the work for you, okay? It's up to you to do your work and find out your sweet spot. Find out what you're best at. Find out what you're most passionate at. Find a way to combine them both and find a demand for it in the world. No one's going to do this for you. It's not going to be handed to you. It's not going to be given, and you can't expect to become an overnight success. There are no overnight success. Stop shooting to be a viral star and do it day by day. This is the long game. We're running a marathon, you and I. And don't worry about comparing yourself to others, okay? It's going to hold you back. Look up to others, respect other people, but don't let the comparison trap of you not feeling like your skills match up to them hold you back. Now, I want to take a moment to talk to you about a product that I'm creating exactly for you. And I'm absolutely blown away by the responses you guys have been giving me. And I'm building this product solely around the things you struggle with the most in creating weekly content, okay? I know you want to build an audience. You want to build a freelance career. You just want to be successful as a creative, but maybe you don't know where to start. And maybe you don't know how to make a consistent plan, okay? Maybe you're creating, but it's just not consistent each week. Well, over at weeklycontentchecklist.com, I'm building this product centered solely towards the thing you struggle with the most. And over the last 2 years, I've somehow managed to build an awesome online audience. I've gotten great freelance work. I've landed great interviews, great everything that I've learned from my blogging, building a newsletter, creating custom images each week that you can repurpose and push it through social media strategy. I compile everything I learned over the last 2 years into a weekly content checklist. And it's all designed to take the thinking out of it for you so you can do what you do best, and that's create. Because you want to build influence, you want to get more eyes on your work because you deserve it. You work hard. Why not get the most out of what you do? So let me take the thinking out of it for you, and if this is something that interests you, go to weeklycontentchecklist.com. As always, I want to thank you so much for lending me your ears and giving me your time today. I appreciate it more than you could ever know. I know there's a million other things you could be doing, a ton of other podcasts you could be listening to, and I'm just so grateful you're here giving me your time right now. I don't take it lightly. If you want to find me, you can find me pretty much anywhere on social media. It's perspective_collective, but you gotta omit all the vowels. All right, social media isn't a big fan of long usernames, so Perspective Collective is really long, so I get rid of the vowels so I can keep it consistent everywhere. So it's PRSPCTV_CLLCTV, Perspective_collective, no vowels. And if you're finding value in these episodes and you want to support the show, the best thing you can do is go over to iTunes and leave a good review. By doing this, you allow this show to be discovered by more creatives such as yourself who just may need that encouraging push to find some confidence in your work and put yourself out there and start taking yourself seriously while having fun doing it. So leaving a great review really helps more than you could ever know, and I appreciate everyone who's left one so far. Otherwise, the next best way to support this show is just by sharing it with a friend for the same reasons. Share it with someone who may need that little encouraging push to get back on the horse or just to start in the first place. It would mean the world to me if you guys took the time to just share the episode or leave a review. I would really appreciate it. And as always, the music you hear on this show is by Blookah. That's Blookah, and you can find him on SoundCloud. I hope you have a killer rest of the week, and as always, keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You got this.